As you can imagine, we get a lot of emails each week from brands looking to get some screen time. And for the most part, we have to respectfully decline to avoid this channel turning into weekly videos on tampers and kettles. However, among the most persistent brands has been these guys, MHW-3BOMBER. Not exactly the catchiest name, but after watching them put out several products from basic accessories to full-on lever machines that actually looked interesting and well made, I thought, what the heck? And sure enough, after giving them a try, one of these items has actually found a way into my permanent setup on my espresso bar. So today we are looking at the U line of accessories from MHW-3BOMBER. If you do want to check out any of the products I'm about to mention, I'll have them all linked down in the description below. Just make sure that you select the correct portafilter size because they not only make these for 58mm, but also 54 and 51 for machines like Breville and DeLonghi's. Starting off with the build quality, this is probably the top reason I finally decided to take a closer look at the brand. The products looked genuinely high quality, and in some cases actually functionally innovative, two of the main criteria for considering making a video. Now, we'll touch on the function part in a minute, but focusing strictly on build quality, I wasn't disappointed. Each of these products in the U line are solid in the hand, well finished, and give satisfying tactile feedback when using them or adjusting settings. The only piece that felt slightly cheap and plasticky was this spring-loaded stopper on the portafilter cradle. Check your local pricing in the description, but in North American markets, I'd say these accessories are justifying their asking price. They're maybe 50% more than an entry-level option, and I would say you're getting an extra 50% in feel and build quality. In terms of design, they are very much leaning into the matte black trend, and I think they look great on my brew bar. However, one thing I can't help but comment on is the MHW-3BOMBER branding itself. To be blunt, I just really don't like it. Not only is it tough to say and remember, but the large white branding on many of their products really detracts from the otherwise clean design aesthetic. Branding is important, but I would really like to see them switch to something more simple and memorable and not feel the need to plaster it in large text all over every product. So with that out of the way, let's go through each of these items they sent from this lineup. Starting off with probably the coolest looking accessory, we have their WD-T tool, which uses a clever push mechanism to spin the needles. Just trying it alone without a portafilter, the motion felt a little bit shaky, but with the resistance from a full basket of coffee, I have to admit, it actually feels really nice and works really well. You do have to be careful about how hard you press and how many times, as it is easy to spin it a little bit too fast, causing grounds to be forced to the outside of the basket, which would cause an uneven bed. But once you get the hang of it, it is an effortless and consistent WD-T tool, with maybe the only downside I could point out being the overall large size. Next up, we have their distributor with this interesting car wheel design. Personally, not a huge fan of this one visually, but again, the build quality is actually impressive. Adjusting the depth of the distributor fins uses a very satisfying clicked system, which is a nice step up from entry-level units that will probably just be using a locking ring on threads. The top section can also be removed, I'm not sure why, but it reveals that the clear window is actually made of a piece of glass and not plastic. If you are in the market for a distributor and you like the visual design of this one, I would say go for it, but functionally it doesn't really do anything spectacular, and I think you can probably find better looking or less expensive options out there. Also remember, if you do your WD-T correctly, there really isn't even a need for a distributor in the first place. Moving on to the tamper, this is the item out of the bunch that has fully found its way into my daily setup. It is the nicest spring-loaded tamper that I own, both in terms of looks and function. Unlike some of the entry-level spring tampers we've looked at previously, like the Normcore V4, which is still a great tamper, the Bomber tamper has a mechanism that releases when the target pressure has been hit. Now, in another video, we explored tamping pressure and its impact on espresso flow and determined that over-tamping isn't exactly a big issue, but the added consistency of a mechanism like this is always welcome, and it adds a nice tactile feel to the whole tamping experience. Compared to the very expensive Force tamper, which also employs a similar mechanism, this tamper is an absolute bargain. Finally, we have the portafilter Cradle. There's not really a whole lot you can say about a tamping station, but it does serve as a good partner for any of the accessories previously mentioned, and it was plenty sturdy enough even to hold my very heavy ECM portafilter. And the logo is only on a rubber ring, so you can rotate it to face the back for a cleaner look. Overall, I was pleasantly surprised by these products from MHW-3BOMBER, and while I'm not a fan of the name, the company behind it is clearly making an effort to develop high quality and highly functional products. So if you're in the market for some matte black accessories, I'd say you can confidently give them a look. Again, if you do want to do that, I will have all of these items linked down in the description below. If you've enjoyed this video, please leave us a like, and even consider subscribing if you want to see some more like it in the future. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.